What we are going to cover today is how to use the 4-5-1 style V in top 11. This formation is especially defensive thanks to its DMC and the line of 4 defenders. The mentality of the formation will depend on the rival. A simple opponent requires a more offensive mentality. A difficult opponent requires a defensive mentality. But it will also depend on the situation. If we have to score a goal, it will be very difficult if we only focus on defending. The ideal type of attack for this formation would be play by wing. With this, we take advantage of the wingers in their maximum position. The type of passes will depend on the rival and the reading of the match statistics. If the opponent presses a lot and makes many tackles, it is best to long pass. If the opponent presses little and has few entries, the best is short passes. If the stats are balanced, the passes can be mixed. Forcing counterattacks will depend on the difficulty and context of the match. It is not the same to play counters against a weak team versus a strong rival. If our opponent is superior and dominates us in the game, this way of playing, force counterattacks, would be the most appropriate. The type of pressure always depends on your calendar and the weather. If the weather is hot, cold, a pressing low is best. If the weather is ideal, we can use any. The marking style is also more of the same. Zonal marking is for easy matches and requires little paperwork. Personal marking is for complex and very creative rivals. The tackling style is very ambiguous. That depends on luck and how your players have qualifications. The play offside trap depends on your mentality. If you are offensive, it would be best to play with the play offside trap. If you are defensive, it would be best not to use it. We can use training for any mentality, whether defensive, offensive, or balanced. So, I'm just going to give you a model of the special skills and play styles that we can use and mix for these objectives. We will see both the free-to-play version and the pay-to-win version. We will start with the following. The first model that we are showing is precisely the free balanced. Why balanced free? Simple. It is a 4-5-1 V that focuses on both attack and defense. And in turn, you are using special skills that are free for all users in top 11. We also see the extra positions that we can place for each player to make the squad more flexible. We start with the GK. We can have a GK with a special agility called one-on-one stopper and a playstyle called box commander. That would be a high-quality goalkeeper. We can have 2 DC with a special ability called aerial defender and a playstyle called no-nonsense DC. We would have very participative central defenders. We can have side defenses alternating with special ability called defensive wall and the playstyles called wingback and fullback. We would have attacking and defensive sides. We can have our DMC with a special ability called playmaker and a playstyle called register. We would have very participative central defenders. We can have 2 alternating MCs, one would be a playmaker and the other would be a dribbler. Regarding your playstyles, both must be box-to-box. With this, we have a solid midfield. We can have AMR-AML with special ability called dribbler and a playstyle called winger. Why dribbler? First, Shadow Striker is completely nerfed. Second, the dribbler is more decisive. Third, we take advantage of the extra position of MRML for this player. That is, he becomes more versatile. We can have ST with special ability called Free Kick Specialist and a playstyle called Target Man. We would have an ST expert in aerial duels, a pure header. Now you are seeing the premium version on the screen. The only difference is that we can have several special abilities and above all, special abilities premium. In this model, we have certain changes. First, the playstyle of the GK is called ball-playing GK. This is because it is complemented by the game from the field itself. Defensive sidewards now have the playstyle called full-back. Both laterals have them in order to maintain the position. In the middle, we have playstyle like the ball winner and the register, in order to make connections and increase our chances of playing fast counter. Everything else is very similar. Now we are looking at the 4-5-1 style 5 defensive model, but for the pay-to-win. For the free offensive version, we have the styles that are more attack-oriented, such as sweeper keeper, fullback, anchorman, Mazzala. And finally, here is the offensive version, but in premium.